Comic-Con, that's some 150 people just walking around. Bringing Comic-Con to LA, they tried it here 1 year during the pandemic. It didn't really work. They thought about bringing WonderCon here from Anaheim. It didn't really work. Why? Because the way it's laid, the lack of certain amenities and things which would be enticing to convention goers just makes it not an attractive place to hold large events. You'll get some conventions in LA, but you're not going to get all the big ones that probably would want to be in LA if there was a better convention center space to host them. So when I tell you all of that, and also note that the LA City Council yesterday held off once again on plans to expand and modernize the LA Convention Center until further financial analysis has been conducted to better understand the full cost of the project. Yeah, I get we want to make sure we're not going to waste money, but this is just more dragging out and kicking the can down the road where it will never get done, seemingly. You would think that you would want an LA Convention Center in place for maybe, I don't know, the Olympics in 2028. You would want it in place for any number of events. We have the Super Bowl, which is coming. And that would be a perfect place for the Super Bowl experience. We have a week-long event. We have the World Cup coming. We have the All-Star Game coming, and they're always ancillary events that are associated with an All-Star weekend coming here. There are world-class events which are supposed to be in Los Angeles, and yet we have a second and arguably third-class convention center. I would love to see more events here because honestly, I don't want to have to always travel to these other cities unnecessarily. If I have to go to another convention in Charlotte or Chicago or even Detroit, I've been to Birmingham twice for various conventions. Birmingham should never have anything on LA, but you will find more and more conventions are going to southern cities, all in the southeastern United States, and LA is an afterthought or a last resort because if you look at the convention space, it's not even close. They're not comparable in nature. I know, and I readily admit, it costs more to do stuff out here. I get all that. But if it's going to cost more, at least be able to compete, at least have a facility which is comparable in nature. I mean, don't get me wrong. We always get, the avian convention, the porn awards. But how many years can you go to the porn awards? All right, I've been enough times. I mean, really, yes, I have. As a matter of fact, never been. But it's a true story. You know what? I will tell you, just like I tell everyone else, the idea of it is far more sexy and alluring than reality. The reason I started going, and this is a true story, I used to go to karaoke at this place called Sardo's here in Burbank. It's no longer there. But at Sardo's, they would have Tuesday night porn karaoke, where actors and producers and directors, people high up in the porn industry would always go to Sardo's on Tuesday night, and they would sing karaoke. You would see some of your favorite actors and actresses there. But you have like a friendly relationship with them because you're wanting karaoke. And you say, hey, why don't you come out to Canadian awards? And also sing karaoke with different porn stars. It was at there's some funny thing there. It's not been through a long time. They would have karaoke, and you would find porn stars if you happen to know Just about a free iHeartRadio app. Search Vinyl Experience and listen to iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good. For home heating and cooling, you can depend on Daikin. Daikin's state-of-the-art designs offer you the latest innovative heating and air conditioning technology. Daikin heating and cooling systems are ultra-quiet, modern, and Daikin's compact systems will blend beautifully in your home. Daikin products are designed to fit your space. It's the fit advantage, and you're receiving 12-year unit replacement warranty, 12 years for parts too. To find a preferred Daikin dealer, visit iHeartHeatingandCooling.com. That's iHeartHeatingandCooling.com. Don't just drive it, love it. During Victory Toyota of Midtown's Love What You Drive sales event. Get over 200 of the most desirable Toyota models available to drive home today. Get a sweet deal on a brand new 2024 Toyota Camry and RAV4 with just 3.9% financing. Or a brand new 2024 Toyota Corolla with just 4.9% financing. Or you can drive home a brand new 2024 Toyota Sienna for just $521 per month. For complete details, visit VictoryToyotaMidtown.com or come into Victory Toyota's new and improved location on 3255 North Cicero Avenue. We've got a match for everyone, so come in and fall in love with a new Toyota at Victory Toyota. Set up a free iHeartRadio app for all your music. Podcasts. Free universe of People just don't know about it.
Embraced originally by the tech community. Like I said, it was a crowdfunded project. And they D2C. You go to their website, there's discounts they make, all kinds of things. But it's just like one of those niche brands. And I was blown away when I tried the phones. The cameras, you might notice if you turn them over, are partnered with Hasselblad. And if you know who Hasselblad is, that was one of the top camera manufacturers. It still is, but back in the old days, that was the one they used for magazine covers and all that. So incredible.
Are these all things?
Let me tell you, there are lots of lenses. There's on the 12, there's a triple lens setup. 50 megapixel main cam, 48 megapixel ultra wide, and a 64 megapixel telephoto. I mean, that's pretty amazing. And the other one, the specs on phones, that's why I had to bring papers. And by the way, a little handy thing, they are SIM phones, so you can take the little chip out of your existing phone and just move it into the other phone.
For someone who may not know, phones now are increasingly eSIM in nature. We don't have that option.
And that's how they control the phone. You don't control.
We gotta go to the break. On the other side, I want to continue this discussion, and also, as we talk about these newer model phones, how AI is going to be integrated in them and how that impacts our concept of what these phones are supposed to be.
Well, that's a touchy subject, but it's the important one.
We're going to do it next. It's Labor Book Kelly Marshall who joins me in studio. KFI AMC's free live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, now to our modern KFI 24-hour newsroom. As heard earlier on Later with Book Kelly, Uber is rolling out teen accounts in California with added safety features. Teens 13 to 17 can set up their own personal accounts through their family's profiles, which are linked with a parent or guardian's account, so they'll know when their teen has booked an Uber. Features include a PIN to be sure it's the right car and can be tracked in real time. Gaza Health Ministry says at least 100 people have been killed in an Israeli attack on a crowd of Palestinians waiting for aid in Gaza City. And the New Jersey restaurant booth featured in HBO's Sopranos finale is now for sale on eBay. It has a sign that says reserved for the Soprano family. Bidding is over $62,000 and the auction ends Monday. It'll crash on the 215 in Riverside.
After Martin Luther King Boulevard, it's taking away the right lane. You'll see traffic stacking up at the 9160 split. The 15 southbound is sparing. You can see the work zone. Caltrans is entering in between lanes from Highway 395 to Oak Hill. That's scheduled to end at 4 a.m. Watch for slowing from Main Street. And on the 10 heading eastbound in Mid-City, you're going to see a brush fire along the right shoulder near the on-ramp at Crenshaw. That's adding to the slowing back up to Robertson. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Pedro Moreno.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like the Vinyl Experience. Music legends experienced through the authentic sound of vinyl. The Rolling Stones, Tom Petty, Pink Floyd, The Police, and so many more. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search Vinyl Experience, and listen now. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
For home heating and cooling, you can depend on Daikin. Daikin's state-of-the-art designs offer you the latest innovative heating and air conditioning technology. Daikin heating and cooling systems are ultra-quiet, modern, and Daikin's compact systems will blend beautifully in your home. Daikin products are designed to fit your space. It's the fit advantage, and you receive a 12-year unit replacement warranty, 12 years for parts too. To find a preferred Daikin dealer, visit iHeartHeatingandCooling.com. That's iHeartHeatingandCooling.com.
Don't just drive it, love it. During Victory Toyota of Midtown's Love What You Drive sales event. We have over 200 of the most desirable Toyota models available to drive home today. Get a sweet deal on a brand new 2024 Toyota Camry and RAV4 with just 3.9% financing. Or a brand new 2024 Toyota Corolla with just 4.9% financing. Or you can drive home a brand new 2024 Toyota Sienna for just just $5.21 per month. For complete details, visit VictoryToyotaMidtown.com or come into Victory Toyota's new and improved location on 3255 North Cicero Avenue. We've got a match for everyone, so come in and fall in love with the new Toyota at Victory Toyota. Toyota financial services. 36 months at 3,000 miles per year. 31 17 plus tax penalty free down payment. Total accessories and security deposit way of offers.
As someone who lives for politics, when a major scandal unfolds,
It was shocking.
I have to know, what were they thinking? Backroom deals,
Huge amounts of money.
CIA secrets, it says on the Firestorm one, affairs. No way this guy's got an interest. Corruption. I wasn't in. Warning, it's even messier than you thought.
United States of Scandal with Jake Tapper, Sunday at 9 on CNN.
With all eyes on the NBA, the time is now to get in on the action with DraftKings at Casino Queen Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers who deposit $5 or more can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 back in a bonus bet. What's a no-sweat bet? It's just like getting an offensive board. Miss your first shot and you get another chance to score. That's right, get a bonus bet back in the amount of your original bet if your first bet doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings at Casino Queen Sportsbook app now and use code IHEART. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 if your first bet loses. Only on DraftKings at Casino Queen Sportsbook with code IHEART. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling referral services can be accessed by calling the 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537, 21 and over, Illinois only. One no-sweat bet for new customer issued as one bonus bet based on amount of initial losing bet. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit wagering and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Let's dance, let's shout. Let's dance, let's shout. Get funny what it's all about. Let's dance, let's shout. Get funny what it's all about. Let's dance, let's shout. Get funny what it's all about. Let's dance. KFI AM 640. It's later from Kelly live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. As we continue Tech Thursday here on the show, Marshall Gardner still in studio with me as we talk about the OnePlus phones. And now we're talking about phones more generally.
Wait, one thing I want to say, because I gave the specs of the OnePlus 12 cameras. Now the one that isn't the flagship phone, the cheaper phone, the $399 phone, okay? The camera on that phone is a 50 megapixel 1.8 f1.8. So that means low light is amazing. 24 millimeter equipment main camera, 8 megapixel f2.2 112 degree ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel macro lens, so you can take pictures of these eyes.
It's almost making professional photography, I wouldn't say obsolete, but you have professional photography grade.
Well, and the cool thing is when you go to the camera, you can swipe to pro settings, where if you know about how to set a camera for pictures and you know how to use your f-stops and your opening, your lens,
The aperture.
yeah, you can set it manually on these phones. And they also take RAW, which if someone's a professional photographer, you'll know that's what you import into a program to do full depth editing. So that's what they do for magazines or porn or things like that.
Porn. It's like a theme tonight or something.
Right.
Blame Mark Runner.
That's a blame Mark Runner. Blame Mark Runner.
Go ahead, Mark. I know you're chewing, so we'll give you a second. No, you leave me out of your filth. I'll try what you were saying.
No, I was just saying that when you look at a phone, and this is one of the reasons I have a full chapter on buying a phone in my book. It's, Qualcomm Snapdragon chip is amazing. Even however much you always want as much RAM for processing, but even 8 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, you remember when your computer had 8 gigabytes of RAM?
Right.
Remember when you're probably not old enough to remember putting a card in your desktop that cost $3,000
Yes.
and it was 1 megabyte.
Yes, the ports.
Right?
Yes, I absolutely.
screens are AMOLED. There are different, there's LCD, there's many different, but AMOLED is the top of the heap, and that's what you get on these phones.
Now,
AI.
I know phones are more a reflection of our personalities to a certain degree, and I think most of us don't utilize the full capabilities of our phones. That was before AI. And I think now it's just exponential in nature. We talk about AI a lot. How does AI figure into the evolution of these phones?
Well, to tell you something interesting, this brand deliberately left AI in the phone. There's no AI.
Samsung is going full speed ahead. Google's going full speed ahead with it.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of things we tend to go full speed ahead with. And they kick us in the rear 5-6 years later. But once you step into the AI circle, once you tap yes or allow, and you let that into your phone, did you ever have a program, usually they were virus programs, that you'd install on your computer, and if you didn't like it, to remove it, was like moving mountains.
And you had to go through a 10-step process, and you probably still didn't get all the remnants of it.
Exactly, and that is what, once you make that Android decision, you're there.
Is it any different for the Apple?
I don't know. I cannot speak for Apple. So, Rich on Tech knows Apple. I know Android. But the thing is, once you make that decision, and we don't know exactly, but what we do know is, are your messages going to be part of machine learning? Or
I would have to assume yes.
Yeah.
It's all a data point.
Yeah, exactly. So everything, once you give the permission, and that's, we've talked about, looking at the terms of privacy and the whole thing on things. We can pretty much, I think Mo and I can pretty much guarantee you, we've been around with technology for a while, that your data will be used. I mean, it was 23andMe. There was a lawsuit, and they sold the genomes of people.
And they bent over backwards to assure us, like, no, we would never. This is not going to happen. We promise you we would not use your personal information for marketing ourselves. And
Yeah, I even have an email from somebody very high up in that company guaranteeing that. So, yeah, that we can't tell. And remember when 5G came out? Now, 5G, I was on 5G, the trail, in 2015. I went to China, I went to Switzerland, I saw installations, I examined what it could do and what it couldn't do. And I came back and I told everybody, if you're outside and there's towers, you've got a signal. If you've got a wall, it won't work, and that's because 5G has two different bands. If you have the 5G in this room right now, that kind can go through the glass and the wall. That one out there can't. So there were two bands, and that was the problem. It was a dual band system, which is why the promise of 5G, yeah, it's fast, and it is faster than 4 LTE, but it's not the promise. Remember how they were saying, oh my goodness, they were handing the phones out to influencers and putting them right next
so
to
you
a
could download a
cell
movie
tower.
in 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, no, you can't.
That was the promise, yeah.
Yeah. So with any promises tech gives you, it's all up to you. We have to be responsible for our own decisions.
But at the same time, I know someone who's listening right now before we close out this conversation. So like, but what can I do? I mean,
Okay, you can go, and I do this. ChatGPT has a website. You can sign up for an account on that website. You do not give it access to everything on your computer or your mobile device. Yes, it has access forever to anything you tell it, so never give it anything secret or personal. As a matter of fact, some companies have gotten in trouble putting together presentations on it. But if you want to use it, I recommend you go direct to the website with a separate sign-in and a separate array. Do not install it on your device yet.
Now that is great advice, Marcia Collier. We always love talking to you because you warn us of our impending doom. You tell us the stuff we need to hear.
This is the good stuff. I mean, we've heard that. But anyway, that's the story right now. And until laws are passed that will restrict some of it.
Well, laws have never been able to keep.
They never stop anybody.
Yeah, they never, yeah. But that's for next week or some other time. Marsha Collier, always great to see you.
Love coming here, Mo, because I love sharing things with you, and your audience is so great. You can find me on Twitter. You can find my books on Amazon.com. Just search Marsha Collier. And my website, MarshaCollier.com. There's a contact information that sends me an email.
We have an update to AMC theaters. Well, in fact, we have a few updates for AMC when we come back. It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Now to Mark Bronner, the KFI 24-hour newsroom. At least 3 people have been hurt in a shooting at a dental office in El Cajon, about 15 miles outside San Diego. Police say the guy opened fire before fleeing in a U-Haul pickup truck with Arizona license plates. They say they're trying to track him down. He's considered armed and dangerous. The stink has continued to anger and sicken residents near the Chiquita Canyon landfill, as county officials say it can't be closed.
The LA County Board of Supervisors has been updated on ongoing issues around the landfill in Santa Clarita Valley. In recent weeks, Chiquita Canyon has been cited by state and federal agencies, and since last summer, County Health Department Deputy Director Nicole Quick says there's been an increase in complaints.
Hard to underestimate. We continue to have a lot of smells emanating from this and odor impacts to the surrounding community.
Neighbors have filed suit hoping to shut down the landfill. Supervisor Catherine Barker says despite the problems in the city, he calls for that yet. Michael Bunks, KFI News.
President Biden and President Trump have both visited the southern border in Texas. Trump's in Eagle Pass and Biden is 300 miles away in Brownsville. Biden criticized Republicans for tanking a bipartisan border security deal on Trump's orders. He asked Trump to join him in finding an immigration solution. Meanwhile, Trump vowed to conduct the largest domestic deportation operation in American history if he wins in November. People who drive Ford electric vehicles can now use much of Tesla's charging network across the U.S. and Canada. BBC's Mark Remillard says Ford EV owners have access to about 15,000 fast chargers, or 57% of Tesla's entire charging network.
The catch, however, is that Ford owners can use the plugs. They'll need an adapter, which Ford says it'll ship for free in March. Ford says starting next year, though, their EVs will be equipped with Tesla-compatible plugs straight from the dealer.
Ford says the addition of Tesla's chargers this week doubled the size of the network Ford EV drivers can use. Southland weather from KFI. Chance of rain tonight, lows in the lower 50s, mid-40s in the IE and AB. Rain is likely tomorrow and Saturday, and a 30% chance of it Sunday. Highs tomorrow in the low 60s, down to low 50s in the AB. It's 59 right now, 158 in Korea, and there's a stall on the 110 downtown LA.
Southbound right at 6th Street. It's stuck in the right lane, so you're going to see some stop-and-go delays as you make your way past the 101. And if you're traveling on the 90 eastbound at Anaheim Hills, watch for slowing approaching Weird Canyon. That's going to ease up just after Gypsum Canyon Road. 215 southbound at Riverside, just after Brooklyn. Still got a wreck there that has the right lane off limits. You'll see traffic stacking up at the 9160 split. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Pedro Moreno.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can watch videos and do laundry. I can even walk with my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by iHeartRadio, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
For home heating and cooling, you can depend on Daikin. Daikin's state-of-the-art designs offer you the latest innovative heating and air conditioning technology. Daikin heating and cooling systems are ultra-quiet, modern, and Daikin's compact systems will blend beautifully in your home. Daikin products are designed to fit your space. It's the fit advantage, and you receive a 12-year unit replacement warranty, 12 years for parts too. To find a preferred Daikin dealer, visit iHeartHeatingandCooling.com. That's iHeartHeatingandCooling.com.
Don't just drive it, love it. During Victory Toyota of Midtown's Love What You Drive sales event. Over 200 of the most desirable Toyota models available to drive home today. Get a sweet deal on a brand new 2024 Toyota Camry and RAV4 with just 3.9% financing. Or a brand new 2024 Toyota Corolla with just 4.9% financing. Or you can drive home a brand new 2024 Toyota Sienna for just $521 per month. For complete details, visit VictoryToyotaMidtown.com or come into Victory Toyota's new and improved location on 3255 Cicero Avenue. We've got a match for everyone. So come in and fall in love with the new Toyota and Victory Toyota.
Is the dog that like live
With all eyes on the NBA, the time is now to get in on the action with DraftKings and Casino Queen Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers who deposit $5 or more can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 back in a bonus bet. What's a no-sweat bet? It's just like getting an offensive board. Miss your first shot and you get another chance to score. That's right, get a bonus bet back in the amount of your original bet if your first bet doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings and Casino Queen Sportsbook app now and use code IHEART. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 if your first bet loses. Only on DraftKings and Casino Queen Sportsbook with code IHEART. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537, 21 and over.
Sorry.
Only one no-sweat bet for your customer issued as one bonus bet based on amount of initial losing bet. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit wagering and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
This is Toby from Wendy's, and this is everything in our new loaded breakfast burrito. 2 fresh cracked eggs, 6 fruity bacon, seasoned breakfast potatoes, cheese sauce, tortilla. Whew. Now that's a breakfast burrito. Only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
An iHeart radio station. More stimulating talk.
Welcome to Mo on the Movies. Don't be ridiculous, darling. It's Mo on the Movies. Not a chance.
KFI-AM640 is Lake Kelly live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I was right again. I tried to tell you that the movie industry, movie theaters were suffering. I tried to tell you that we are moving in a direction which is away from movie theaters. And although there may be individual movies which may do well, you need to have movies do well over the course of the year. You don't need to have just a movie here or there. You need the movie which is going to bring people into the theater, not just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I told you last year how there were fewer releases. I told you how since the pandemic, it was billions and billions of dollars fewer than prior to the pandemic. About $3 to $4 billion. The whole industry was down. I told you how AMC, much to my disbelief, was buying up a lot of other movie theaters, their movie houses and spaces, and turning them into AMCs. And I said I didn't see how that made sense because the whole business was contracting, and yet they were using their assets to buy more physical movie theater locations. Well, now that we're well into 2024, did you know that AMC's stock price dropped 85% in 2023? 85%. Now, how the CEO managed to keep his job after the stock price dropped 85%, I don't know. But Adam Aaron, the CEO, clearly is aware that he may not be CEO much longer, so he extended an olive branch to shareholders. He said he would take a 25% pay cut. And you're probably wondering, well, 25% of what? Well, Adam Aaron made $23.7 million last year. So they'll take 25% of that off that, even though the value of the company dropped 85%. So it makes you wonder, what does this mean? As AMC, the largest movie theater chain in the world, what does it mean when that company lost 85% of its value? What does it mean in the sense of these streaming platforms, which are still, even though they're more expensive than ever before, they are taking more and more business away from movie theaters. It's not just enough to say, well, we had Avatar 2, well, we had Barbie, well, we had Oppenheimer. If you can name all of the hit movies on one hand, or maybe both your hands, that's not enough for this industry to survive as it is. I suspect you'll see more and more contraction of these movie theater chains in the next year or two, because AMC, the only way that they'll be able to come out of this slump is not going to be through actual movies. It's not going to be through different offerings and selling popcorn at the supermarket. They're going to have to sell off these movie theaters. We're seeing something similar in the business of radio. We saw that Odyssey, one of the biggest radio companies, filed bankruptcy last year, and they're selling off a lot of stations. This is how the entertainment business writ large is changing and evolving. AMC down 85%. Is probably not ever going to come back. And I say this in full disclosure. When they had those meme stocks that run with GameStop and also AMC, I made a little money on that. I'm not going to lie. Okay? I appreciated them for that. But I also knew that it was not going to be a long-term investment, because the movie theater industry was not going to be sustainable long-term.
You know what's interesting is in this report of the CEO taking his pay cut and all this and everything they're saying about AMC, to highlight that the only thing that kept essentially AMC in the black in 2023 is the Beyonce and Taylor Swift films. Right. So when you say that out loud, you say the films that kept us, like, kept people's butts in seats over and over and over again were two concerts turned theatrical releases. You didn't say Flowers of the Killer Moon. You didn't say any superhero film. You didn't say anything about any movie that was largely promoted as bringing people back to theaters. This is bringing people. No. Two musicians brought people back to theaters. That overall, and cut special deals. Yeah.
That's not sustainable, because you're not going to have a Beyonce, Taylor Swift type music tour, which is going to engender the type of support for a concertized version film every single year. You're not. Taylor Swift is not going on tour this year. Beyonce's not going on tour this year. Michael Jackson's not coming back from the grave, okay? You're not going to have those world famous artists who are able to, I'll say, monetize that type of a concert.
Think about the fact that when the four of us went to go see that god-awful trash heap of a film.
Which one?
That one. Bad way. No, because the other one was a toilet bowl of trash. That was the Aquaman. Look at how few people were actually even in the theater. And this was my first weekend. Theater was empty. And I know we went during the theater, but that's the point. There weren't enough films in the theater the size of the AMC 16 in Burbank. We're talking about here. Where's Rabbi? Theater was relatively empty. I think there was like us and four other people.
And huge things. Because, we got us prime seats right in the middle. It was like a state. I mean, there were so many seats, and there was, you could probably, there was maybe 20, 30 other people. And if you're not going to be able to get people during the first week, you're definitely not going to get them during the second week, or the third week, during the week. And I keep trying to tell people, it's not just people who will go to the movie on Friday or Saturday. Those places are open 7 days a week. People have to be able to justify that expense of employees and electricity and whatever the equipment all week long. And that's why I've seen more and more movie theaters, independent theaters, they're not open 7 days a week anymore. They may go Friday to Tuesday or something like that, because there's no need to be open all week long. buy a race car jacket. It's largely been happening to the other movie theaters chains, but either they've gone out of business or sold off some of their theater locations to AMC just to stay afloat. It's not going to get any better. And also, AMC is not helping themselves. We'll tell you why in just a second. But when the CEO is coming out and saying, hey, we're going to give you more Kidman free movie spots, not one, not two, but three new ones, and also allege that Nicole Kidman, that spot, has been increasing revenue, been bringing people into the theaters. If you're going to keep telling that lie, you're not long for this business. We'll tell you all about how bad we're doing. We need another number. This time for your lucky number is still Contagious Theater. Here on Kelly, we're giving away tickets tonight to Something Like It Hot, also Shucked. Something Like It Hot, the Tony and Grammy winning musical comedy hit inspired by the 1959 MGM film, and Shucked, a hilarious and audacious form to fame a musical about, yes, porn. Your hour 2 lucky number is 31. Let me say it again. 31. That's your second number. You'll have one more next hour, and also your chance to call in one or the other great musical offered by the Hollywood Pantages Theater as part of its Broadway in Hollywood 2024-25 season at the Pantages. It's like Kelly Kid by AM 640 Live on the iHeartRadio app. That will be Mark Roderick Kid by 25 Newsroom. 100 rabbits recently rescued from a home in Granada Hills need foster homes. They were found in poor condition, crowded into the backyard of a home last Saturday. The Bunny World Foundation, yes, that's a thing, says the rabbits will be spayed and neutered, and they're urging people to adopt them. The Senate's moving short-term funding bill to avert a partial government shutdown this weekend. Legislation kicks 2 government funding deadlines to March 8th and March 22nd. More time to come to an agreement on appropriations bills. And Adele is postponing her Las Vegas residency. She announced on Instagram she's pushing back the remaining weekends of her residency because doctors said she needed to rest her voice. Dates of postponed shows haven't been announced. Have a crash at the 215 in Riverside.
Sitting southbound just after Mark. Two right lanes are shut down now until further notice, so that's causing delays up the 9160 split. And as you travel the 10 heading eastbound in mid-city approaching Robertson, pretty slow crawl there into downtown LA starts to clear up at the 110. And if you're on the 110 southbound in downtown LA, right at 6th Street, stalled car there has been moved out of the right lane. Traffic has recovered. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Pedro Moreno.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by iHeartRadio, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Line, and the Council.
For home heating and cooling, you can depend on Daikin. Daikin's state-of-the-art designs offer you the latest innovative heating and air conditioning technology. Daikin heating and cooling systems are ultra-quiet and modern, and Daikin's compact systems will blend beautifully in your home. Daikin products are designed to fit your space. It's the fit advantage, and you're receiving 12-year newer replacement warranty, 12 years for parts too. To find a preferred Daikin dealer, visit iHeartHeatingandCooling.com. That's iHeartHeatingandCooling.com.
Don't just drive it, love it. During Victory Toyota Midtown's sales event, we have over 200 of the most desirable Toyota models available to drive home today. Get a sweet deal on a brand new 2024 Toyota Camry RAV4 with just 3.9% financing, or a brand new 2024 Toyota Corolla with just 4.9% financing, or you can drive home a brand new 2024 Toyota Sienna for just $521 per month. For complete details, visit ViralRabbi.com or visit Victory Toyota's new and improved location on 3255 North Cicero Avenue. We've got a match for everyone, so come in and fall in love with the new Toyota. Victory Toyota. Toyota Financial Services.
Yeah, I really should get on that. It'll work.
eyes on the NBA. The time is now to get in on the action with DraftKings and Casino Queen Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers who deposit $5 or more can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 back in the bonus bet. What's a no-sweat bet? It's just like an offensive board. It's your shot and get another chance to score. That's right. Get a bonus bet back in the amount of your original bet if your first bet doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings and Casino Queen Sportsbook app now and use code IHEART. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 if your first bet loses. Only on DraftKings and Casino Queen Sportsbook with code IHEART. If you or somebody know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling or other services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537, 21 and over. Illinois only. One no-sweat bet for new customer issued as one bonus bet based on amount of initial losing bet. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit wagering and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
This is Toby from Wendy's, and this is everything in our new loaded breakfast burrito. 2 breakfast eggs, 6 bacon, seasoned breakfast potatoes, cheese sauce, tortilla. Woo! That's breakfast burrito. U.S. Wendy's.
You're tired of politicians. How about this election cycle? We do every single thing in our power to vote individuals into office that actually going to do more for those that they are elected to serve.
The Walmart Show, Saturday evening at 5 on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for movies. It's time for music. It's time for killing.
Take a look, where the fuck is this? 81457.ROTHSCHILD.
A lot of AMC news today on that same call in which
I don't know.
the CEO Adam Aaron
Their Explorer, I guess.
was taking a 25% pay cut because the stock price and other negative indicators of AMC had dropped precipitously. The stock price had dropped 85% in the past year. Well, Adam Aaron had some
Lies on this shit court.
he said that
There's a
they're going to
blind
have
spot.
not one, not two, but three different
But their Explorer is very strange.
spots that they're going to be rotating in advance of movies that you may see. Remember how you go to AMC, you can see some 75 different trailers of coming movies, and then they would have no talk, no text, and then the
What is
person
that?
would strut out and sit in the movie theater by herself and say something like, "We make magic," or something like that. Oh, here it is right here.
Sorry, say again.
We come to this place
Yeah, this is
for magic. We come to AMC Theaters to live,
movie songs.
to care. Because we need that, all of us. That indescribable feeling when the lights begin to dim. And we go somewhere we've never been before. Not just
Wait,
entertained,
so
but
what's the
somehow
one team is doing live stream now? Is that right?
dazzling images on a huge silver screen.
Oh, okay.
Sound
That was fun. Action.
somehow operating as a universe like this.
And she's trying to have sex in the theater. It sounds like this kind of sex, like she's having an orgasm or something.
Damn,
I know
that
something
was
like that.
Because our heroes feel like the best part of us.
How old is it?
Perfect and powerful.
I saw. Fuck, that's crazy. I do a lot of sniping on Salon. Getting to deploy telegrams.
I don't know about all that.
There's like, I don't know, there's like a couple days, solid like 2, maybe 3 days where there's just like, I don't know, every like 10 minutes, half hour, whatever it was, there was a cat in hat, cat with hat, new deploy. I always looked at those as like they're just advertising to like get people in. So
No exaggeration,
look
100%. Yeah.
at this shit.
Now, AMC is saying that particular spot was to help them drive revenue. I don't know of anyone, I haven't surveyed everyone, but I don't know of anyone who actually goes to the movie to see
I did the math on the blast.
that's
It's only
like
like
a
$1
featured attraction
now.
or something that people say like, oh my gosh, can I see my Nicole Kidman? I don't know of anyone who has ever expressed any desire to see them, but we know that we're going to see it. Now, I will say, there was a time in which I went to the movie and other people go to the movie, and we would appreciate hearing and seeing something like this. You may recognize it. Oh, that's wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is what I mean.
Yeah.
The audience is listening.
Do you know any sniper bots that hold or sniper bots that will hold fluffy pools? Like I can't. My bot is
After I bought a ticket to the movie, like they're my own free will. I don't really need Nicole Kidman to sell me on the joys of going to the movies. I'm already there. No. She's trying to sell you I'm going to AMC specific. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you are already there. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. When I go to IMAX, I do like their promo for IMAX.
no sure if it has a blind spot now.
Well, this one has the last
Yeah.
I would rather listen to that and get Nicole Kidman than make me feel like I'm about to go to battle with giant insect aliens. Whatever.
Yeah, it's been pretty dry out.
Dancing snake.
Go on, please.
Let's all go to we just lighten this up a little bit. I know, because I can't imagine anyone that just got out of the car and that's all that was like.
No,
I
that's
have
not
never in
good.
my life, not that Nicole Kidman is unattractive, but I've never decided to go to the movies because I needed to get a glimpse of Nicole. That's just never happened.
You're like the big idea, you know.
Look, I don't want you to get sexy and sultry. It is like pillow talk, isn't it? She's whispering into your ear. As, you know, they're not all that sweet. And it's
Not good.
For magic, we come to AMC theaters to love, to cry, to care.
That's not true. AMC theaters for the popcorn bucket trick. We do not come to AMC theaters to love and to cry.
We come to this place for magic.
No,
We come to AMC theaters to love,
no,
to cry,
no,
to care.
no, stop it. I come to see a movie. I paid $18, presumably somewhere around there. I paid another $18 for some food. It took 25 minutes to cook. At that point, I'm not coming for love. I'm not coming to cry.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not.
coming to be entertained.
It's like
We come to this place
close to fucking
for magic.
Oxford. Yeah, it's
We
not
come
too,
to
or
AMC theaters to love,
No,
not too far out.
no,
to care.
no.
Because we need that.
No, I need you to start the damn movie. That's all I need. Just start the damn movie. I know. Don't text. Don't talk. But start the movie. That's all I want. Am I asking too much? We come to the theater to see someone else's phone screen and hear them talk too loud. And have a stranger sit right next to you and put their hand on your thigh. I was sitting next to you in the theater. What are you trying to say? Oh, it's almost 9 o'clock, Will.
We come to this place for magic.
To put my hand
We come to AMC theaters to love,
on my hand on the thigh.
to care. Because we need that.
Don't move it up anymore.
That indescribable feeling we get.
Oh,
when lights begin to dim.
yes! I can describe it. Yes!
Blast, are we all going to blast? There we go.
Not just entertained, but somehow we want
Alright, rotating.
together.
Who wants like viral again? Casino back up,
Check my
you
AMC
know,
story below. I heart radio app.
yeah,
We tried less stimulating talk.
go watch it.
It ended
Dog.
KFI.
KOST HD.
Better for long and uncared.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Dental office shooting. I'm Mark Ron, live in the KFI 24 newsroom. One person has been killed and 2 others hurt in a shooting at a dental office in El Cajon.
Overshot with a handgun. Police tell unless it's unknown at this point if it was domestic violence or police violence or something else.
ABC's Alex Stone says the alleged shooter and victims apparently knew each other. He says the guy fled in a U-Haul truck with Arizona license plates. Police in San Diego County are trying to track him down. He's considered armed and dangerous. A man in Irvine is pleading guilty to firebombing an abortion clinic.
All three defendants were part of this conspiracy have been convicted.
U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada says that they used a Molotov cocktail to bomb a Planned Parenthood in Costa Mesa in 2022.
Motivated by extreme hate ideologies, committed a series of acts.
Planning to attack anti-defamation facilities and
A power grid station, which they plan to start a race war, and also plotting to attack Dodger Stadium on Pride Night.
the first of the three men who face decades in prison are set to be sentenced next month at the federal courthouse in Santa Ana. Corbin Carson, KFI News. A fugitive charged with making violent threats against a judge in Orange County has been arrested. FBI LA's Laura I. Miller says Zuniga Sanchez was caught at the border Monday after being on the run for threatening to kill the judge in his family's case.
He actually walked through the pedestrian crossing at San Isidro, and CBP discovered that there was a warrant for his arrest. They took him into custody and turned him over to the FBI.
Sanchez also allegedly sent an email asking the judge if he had the last words, apologies, or regrets before he lawfully killed him. The man had multiple other warrants, including reckless driving, evading police, domestic violence, workplace violence, and invasion of privacy. Neighbors of the Chiquita Canyon landfill in the Santa Clarita Valley have soon shut down the site due to ongoing odor and health concerns. County officials say that's not yet possible.
There's clearly an incident and there's clearly receipts that it does not mean the cessation of the landfill.
LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger says federal, state, and local governments and agencies continue to monitor and cite the landfill. Residents have been sending thousands of complaints since last year about the odors and toxic runoff. The House and Senate have passed another short-term spending measure to avoid a shutdown that begins Saturday. It will keep one set of federal agencies operating through March 8th and another through the 22nd, and now heads to President Biden's desk to be signed into law. Gaza's health ministry says at least 112 people have been killed by Israeli forces who shot at a crowd of Palestinians trying to get food from aid trucks. The IDF says that most people died from stampede and truck drivers running over people.
Remember, there's a real need for food in that area, so the crowd there of civilians waiting. As the trucks moved in, at some point, we're told by Israeli security officials, IDF troops on the ground did open fire at the crowd.
ABC's Tom Sufi-Burrich says the IDF claims the crowd was moving toward troops in an aggressive way. Health officials say more than 30,000 Palestinians have now been killed since the start of the Israel-Hamas war in October. And Electronic Arts has cut about 5% of its workforce. The video game company announced the layoffs yesterday, saying it's part of a plan that includes stopping some game development. An annual report last year showed the company had 13,400 employees, so about 670 jobs will be affected by the cuts. The CEO says the move will help deliver deeper, more connected experiences for fans everywhere. Southland weather from KFI. Chance of rain tonight, lows in the lower 50s to the mid-40s in the IE and AV. Rains likely tomorrow and Saturday, and then a 30% chance of it Sunday. Highs tomorrow in low 60s, low 50s in the AV. Right now it is 58 in Orange, 57 in La Habra, 56 in Sherman Oaks, 58 in Compton, and we got Collins on the 605 in Los Alamitos.
To Delano Boulevard, right lane is closed off. Century open for you at 5 in the morning. And you'll see some stopping of traffic here on the 110 northbound, making your way into downtown LA. That's from the 10 up until you get to about the 101. Some slowing on the 101 southbound out of Hollywood as you approach Vermont Avenue. It'll stay slow from there up until you get to the 110. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Pedro Moreno.
History is beautiful, ridiculous, joyful, and bold, and meaningful as we dive into the strangest stories from across the span of human civilization in ridiculous history. Whether we're exploring the accidental invention of music or how people used to plant pineapples, join us to hear the many ways history can be oh so ridiculous. Listen to Ridiculous History on the iHeartRadio app. Find your favorite podcast.
For home heating and cooling, you can depend on Daikin. Daikin's state-of-the-art designs offer you the latest innovative heating and air conditioning technology. Daikin heating and cooling systems are ultra-quiet, modern, and Daikin's compact systems will blend beautifully in your home. Daikin products are designed to fit your space. It's the fit advantage, and you're receiving 12-year unit replacement warranty, 12 years for parts too. To find a preferred Daikin dealer, visit iHeartHeatingandCooling.com. That's iHeartHeatingandCooling.com.
Don't just drive it, love it.
Music, sports, talk, and podcasts. Free. Never sounded so good. KFI AM 640. KFI AM 640 is later. Delivered live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And I'm kind of hangry right now. I'm hangry. I had some dinner, or at least I thought I had some dinner. I went to Whole Foods last evening, and I bought some salmon and a salad. When I got to the studio yesterday, we had Whitney's food, which was brought courtesy of our friends at Whitney's. And I said, well, let me just save the salmon and the salad for tomorrow. I know it's not an equal trade-off. I get that. You have the salmon and salad, and then you got Whitney's. I know. But my point is, I put it in a Whole Foods bag. So I thought, in the refrigerator, and I said, I'll just eat it the next day. That was yours? I found that bag last night. It had a piece of salmon in it. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Wait. What? Wait a minute. Okay. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. I think we don't have to do it. I didn't touch it. I looked at the receipt in it to see if I could figure out who it was to return it, and then I just left it on the table. I was going to return it. I didn't touch it. I thought it was a delicious looking piece of salmon and nicely glazed. Okay, so in other words, we have two people in the studio who saw the salmon. Yes. But neither claims to have eaten the salmon. Look, let me tell you something. I was the last out here. If anyone came in after midnight and saw all of the remaining Wendy's cookies and the remaining Wendy's cinnamons all stacked nicely on the table, I actually even arranged them in a symmetrical pattern. Put the cookies in the tray. I even took the coffee that was sitting in the Keurig case. I put that on the table, and I saw that bag. This is after midnight, and I saw that bag, and I said, no, this can't be Mo. I know Mo goes to Whole Foods. That's where you go. And I'm like, Mo, he wouldn't leave his food. Someone that's here, someone who maybe is walking around, or maybe someone down the hall in AM 570, and with the food I was getting ready to come and warm it up. I don't know. So I left it there on the table. But you say you left it in the refrigerator. Yeah, I had no reason to take it out of the refrigerator because I'd already committed to the Wendy's. Well, who took it out? Yeah, who would do that? I don't know. But look, people do steal lunches out of that refrigerator. Let's be clear. I don't put my stuff in that refrigerator. Because you know. Yeah. And I, for some reason, trusted it, and I shouldn't. I don't know who would have taken it out, though, because it didn't even look old. It looked like it was brand new. It was brand new. And plus, you have the upstairs people who work overnight as well. So, I mean, they got their own refrigerator. Actually, but they don't have the kitchen stuff that we have. They don't have like the vending machines and stuff. That's what I'm saying. They come down. We have a nice espresso machine, but the salmon looks so delicious. I was wondering why would somebody leave that unless there was like an active shooter or something? You don't just leave a piece of Whole Foods salmon is not inexpensive. I know that. I paid for it. Yes, very expensive. Very delicious too, because I didn't partake in any of the Wendy's because all that was left were sweets and treats. I didn't take any of that. Well, I took some for to drop off to my kids. I gave them some Wendy's. I took some to work. So there was like 50, 11 things of Wendy's left over. There was a lot. So I took some of that and I said, this salmon, right now left on this table. This is radio station fair game. It's on the table. Well, it would have been, but we didn't know how long it had been sitting out there. That it's
someone's fresh food taken out right. But there's a sign in the refrigerator like they clean it out supposedly every Friday. So I'm thinking it's Thursday night. I'm good. I should have no problem. That is a fiction. This refrigerator cleaning. There's stuff that you'd have to carbon date it. So who's going to go to Whole Foods for me? I mean, look, they're still open. I mean, I think it's Pushi's the only one that has no alibi. I saw Mark saw me. I mean, no, because Slick released before us. He did. Yeah, no, wait. I didn't see the salad. So I don't know. Yeah, there was a salad in there. There was a salad. It was a spinach salad. Oh, see. You gotta start writing your name on the bag or something. Look, but that really doesn't matter anything. It's just not I done that, Mark. And I'm thank you. I packaged with my name in the trash. I found it. I said to myself, so you saw my name and still said let me eat it? Well, it's always funny when someone said like, oh, I didn't know it was yours. Motherfucker, you knew it wasn't yours. That's all that matters. Right? It's not yours. You don't need to know to whom it belongs. Yo, where's the ethics in this stuff? What's going on here? I know it's yours, so it's mine now. Right. That's their logic. Yeah. So you needed to know exactly to whom it belongs. Otherwise, it's reasonable doubt. I was trying to be a good Samaritan and a food detective. I was trying to locate the victim of the food theft because nobody would. That's like $30 worth of food there that was just sitting on the table. I don't know who took it out of the refrigerator. That's the biggest problem to me. The whole salad disappearance thing. You know, all I thought was bacon. You guys see that? Rings. Not true. Because the salad is in there as well. Well, if you're trying to say nobody around here looks like they eat salad, no, I'm just saying it sounds like a conscious decision. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Someone said, no, but you put one. Right. like they were. I could have understood if they took the salmon and left the salad. They didn't want it a snack. There's no pure maliciousness, and they just took it to like throw it in the garage or something. You don't even know. People have no respect. People didn't take civics. What's wrong with people? I don't know. I look at you differently now, Mark. I was trying to help. I was trying to follow people. I was trying to be one of Mr. Rogers' helpers. Look for the helpers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. When we come back, we're going to actually talk about something serious. You may remember Tuan Sharp and I told you that there was going to be a reckoning specifically with the music industry regarding Me Too. We told you that from the very first lawsuit, which was levied by Cassie against Diddy. Since then, he's been sued 5 more times. Not talking about the other people in the music industry, but specifically tied to music industry people. It should have happened. And alongside of the original Me Too movement, it didn't happen. And internally, we were having discussions like, gosh, what's going to happen when this comes out or that comes out? Things that we knew about couldn't necessarily prove, but people were willing to come forward. Well, they're coming forward now, and they're telling everything about everyone. We'll have all of that for you on the other side. It's later with Mo Kelly. Can't buy AM 640. I'm still hungry. I would like my salmon. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Now to Mark Runner, in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. At least 3 people have been injured in a shooting in a dental office in El Cajon, about 15 miles northeast of San Diego. Cops say the suspected shooter, Mohammed Abdul Kareem, age 29, fled the scene in a white U-Haul pickup with Arizona license plates. Only 1 people with any information. 911. Russian President Putin says the West sending troops to Ukraine may lead to nuclear war. In his annual State of the Nation address, Putin said Moscow has the weaponry to hit Western targets if they send their own troops to defend Ukraine. This comes after French President Emmanuel Macron said the possibility of sending troops to Ukraine cannot be ruled out. And actress Anne Whitfield is dead at 85 in Yakima, Washington. She appeared in the classic White Christmas and many TV shows in the 60s and 70s, including Father Knows Best and Barry Mason. The crash is out of the way. The 215 in Riverside.
Southbound just after Martin Luther King Boulevard. I moved out of the 2 right lanes. Your driver is slowly recovering from the 9160 split. Work zone on the 15 southbound into Cajon Pass. That's from the 138 to Baseline Road. The 2 right lanes are closed off, scheduled to end at 5 a.m. And if you're on the 91 eastbound at Anaheim Hills, watch for some slowing coming up to Weird Canyon. That'll start to clear up just after Gypsum Canyon Road. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. Here's your burrito.
She said it's beautiful and often ridiculous. Join Ed Bolton and me, Lauren, as we dive into the strangest stories from across the span of human civilization in ridiculous Daikin's state-of-the-art designs offer you the latest innovative heating and air conditioning technology. Daikin heating and cooling systems are ultra-quiet, modern, and Daikin's compact systems